Hey everyone, Dan here. We're about an hour after market close on Monday, June 21st. Today we're going to take our Monday look at Palantir. We look at it every Monday. In case you're ever wondering, during the midweek, when's Dan going to put out a video on Palantir? It's always the next Monday. So if that ever changes, obviously I'll let you know, but we've been doing it for quite some time. Before we get into it, if you enjoy these videos, please hit the like and subscribe button. It helps a lot. And also, announcement. Some folks have been suggesting that we sort of like have a backup in case anything were to ever happen to the YouTube channel, which I don't think is going to happen. But folks said you should have another way to reach out to people who enjoy your videos in case that were to happen. So I've linked in the description below a Google form that you can pop your email address into, and I'm going to use that for, in case anything. Again, I don't think this will happen, but in case anything happens to the YouTube channel, we'll start to communicate there, figure things out. But additionally, I do see value potentially down the line in starting a newsletter. This isn't anything that I've fleshed out, anything that I have up and ready to go. But, I could see value in sending out text versions of plays, pointing out some chart things and some data things and sending those to folks in a newsletter above and beyond what I can do with the videos, just because there's only so much time to do the videos and the volume in which I put them out, it takes a ton of time. So feel free to click that link if that's interesting to you. And then the last thing is, folks have been wondering how they could help spread the word. And I'm told, one, just by dropping a comment, that actually helps spread the word, helps get the videos served up to more people. So feel free to comment below. Comments are often great. I'm really joyful. I'm really pleased with how, the valuable info that comes in from the comments. It's really, really helpful for myself and for other folks, and some really good questions that come in that certainly, are on other people's minds, I don't doubt. And, if you share videos that you enjoy on Facebook or Twitter or Reddit, those things help a lot too, just to get these in front of eyes of different people who might not be finding them on YouTube itself. Okay, sorry for the long intro, but let's get into it. So Palantir had like a relatively flat day today. And, volume was about on par with what we've seen, the average volume over the last 3 months. So just kind of a womp womp kind of day, nothing good, nothing bad. It is continuing to hold in this up channel, which is really good. It's been in here since like the second week of May. I'm like, what month is the fifth month? First or second week of May, it got in here and then, tested the bottom here, May 13th, and then tested the top. So, it has spent a lot of time toward the top. So it was nice to see it test the bottom recently, twice, to sort of confirm that it is still in this channel, is still sort of working its way up. So if that continues to be the case, it could have been a really good dip buy opportunity here early on in the day, when it did stretch down there. That said, it's sticking itself really tightly to this 25-28 price zone that we had targeted. It's just treating that as its consolidation zone at the moment. So we'll see if it can sort of, even if it does continue to consolidate this week, that'll still put it to the bottom bound of the channel, by like end of day Friday or next Monday. I know that wouldn't be the most exciting week for anyone, but it would still be holding the channel and could give it a good opportunity to bounce at the end of this week or early next week, and work its way up to that 26 price target, which has been very hard for it to get support at. But support of that 26.05 definitely helps unlock the pathway back into the 30s. If we take a look at the indicators, the RSI is just above the midline, so definitely plenty of opportunity for it to infuse some buying pressure into the stock. But that said, the RSI could obviously choose to dip down a little bit. It has pushed both bounds recently. Unfortunately, when it hit the bottom bound here, it was at the bottom of the channel, but that stretched toward overbought, though it didn't quite reach it, only made it to about mid-channel. So, it is a little bit of kind of selling pressure at the moment, but we'll see if, it holding pretty steady today gives it some buying pressure tomorrow. MACD signal line kind of doing this kissing formation that I've talked about before, where they just kind of hang out next to each other and keep smooching back and forth. So definitely a chance for it to have a bullish crossover here. I don't know if it will, but it seems as though this slight bearish momentum that it had here has died down and could leave itself open to a swing like we saw here. It's relatively close to the baseline, definitely has enough opportunity to jump back up on the MACD. It would be nice to see that MACD stretch up to somewhere around this 0.5 area, as opposed to these lower 0.2-ish areas down here where we've seen it recently. That'll help it work itself up that channel. Obviously, if it falls out, we'll continue to talk about it. So it could always fall out of the channel and quickly get supported at 24.65 and then just kind of like make its way back up and try to re-enter the channel or kind of hug the bottom bound of the channel. But we'll just have to keep a tight eye on it to see what's going to happen on that front. I do have like a couple of ideas, a couple of things that I noticed that I think would help Palantir a lot, and we don't have any control over either of these things that I'm going to mention. But I would just say here we see the analyst ratings: 3 sells, 4 holds, 2 buys, price target 21.29. So that leaves 16% downside to meet that average price target for analysts. Now, this isn't to say that analysts are correct, and I know that the media and analysts in general have been like not the best friends of Palantir, constantly kind of, showing the all the downside or what have you. But they've been very skeptical, to put it nicely, I guess. So I think if some folks were to come in with positive buy ratings and some nice, $30, $35, $40 price targets, like that could go a long way to getting this running up steep in this channel. I think that sort of news would really bolster a lot of the retail interest that has died down, that we saw sort of like toward the beginning of the year in Palantir, and then it sold off, obviously. The other thing is, if this insider trading continues to slow down, we see here 12 months, over 900 million in transactions, and then 6 months, also the same. 3 months, nearly $250 million, so 240 million, and then over the last month, 52. So, if that can continue to recede, and maybe even at some point you get some buys from insiders, again, I don't think that necessarily is a huge swayer, because Palantir is also relatively new. So you're going to have to expect some of these shares that folks have that have become available to sell, that's bound to happen. Also, if you remember when it was trading down at like 9, so I mean, these folks have, double, tripled, quadrupled their money by the time they're selling them. So I definitely understand it. There's folks who joined the company when it was a startup, when it was privates, and they were, granted options, and they want to realize the gains from those options because, a lot of them are just normal workers. And so they have bills to pay and they have things that they want to accomplish in their life. So they look at it as a really good opportunity to have a nice payday. So I don't begrudge anyone for selling their shares. But I do think, if that could start to fizzle a bit, that would help just from like a perception perspective. Both of these things that I'm talking about are just perception. It's just the perception that analysts would have a larger price target, and the news that would come along with that, like, the not press release, but the news release that would come out that would say, so-and-so initiates coverage on Palantir with a buy rating and $35 price target, something like that. I think that would go a long way. And also, again, if folks came and they checked the insider data and saw that, there's some buys that are happening, there's very few sells that are happening, I think that would additionally help people sort of have renewed confidence in Palantir. But like I said, things we don't have any control over, because I'm not an insider, I'm not an analyst that's putting out ratings. But just some thoughts, some things to look for. I do think that if, especially the analyst thing were to happen, and that can drop at any time, that would, project us off into a really, really big day, or big days. Okay, well, that'll do it for this one. I hope your trading week got off to a good start. I appreciate you watching this video, and I will see you in the next one.